Hi.
Darienne Debrule.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
Yes, that was perfect.
Okay, perfect. Welcome. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
I'm so ready. I love, well, first, we met at an event a couple months ago. And ever since then, I think I've loved following you. You're just so fun and positive, and I feel like you're living like a dream job right now.
Thank you. That's literally how I feel every day. I just sent my best friend a voice memo and I'm like, dude, I love my life right now. Like, and there was a time when I didn't love my life. So it's just crazy, like how everything just falls into place.
Yeah. How did you, what was your journey to get to where you are? And right now you're doing journalism.
Mm-hmm.
And is it broadcasting specifically or?
Yeah, broadcasting
Okay.
specifically. So in college or in high school, actually, I was a volleyball player and I really wanted to play college volleyball. And that was like all I was into. And then I tore my ACL twice, which led to the end of that. That's a quick career ender.
Oh,
Yeah, it sucked. And then I got super into politics, actually. Like, I loved the political systems, I loved how they worked. I don't know if you're familiar with the American Legion, but
a little,
yeah, it's
not
like
very well.
I'm trying to explain what it is. It's like a veteran organization. And like
Yeah.
the Wives of Veterans is the American Legion Auxiliary.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got involved with them. I went to this thing called Girls State, which is like a little political camp. And there I ran for something called Girls Nation. So you're basically acting like a Girls State senator. And I got elected to Girls Nation. And I went to the Capitol and I met President Trump during his first time in office. And I met like Mitt Romney and Senator Mike Lee and just all of these like amazing people, Senator Orrin Hatch at the time. And it was just incredible. And I was just enthralled with politics. And I was like, this is what I want to do. So I went to the University of Utah and I majored in political science. And I was like, I'm going to be a lawyer because that is the easiest way to become a politician is to go to law school. And a lot of my family does law. And then I get into my pre-law degree and stuff in political science. And I'm like, actually, I don't love law. But I've always loved the news and I've always loved TV. But when you're younger, TV feels like such a lofty dream. You're like, how do people even do that? I don't know. And then I kept my political science major, but I switched to adding communications too. And I was like, you know what? Like, I want to be a news anchor. Because I realized that as much as I love politics, I didn't necessarily want to be in it. I didn't want to be the one making the decision. I just like political systems and how they work. And I like sharing information. So that's kind of, sorry, this is like a long story. I'm sorry I'm talking about
No,
myself so much.
you're good.
It's weird being on the receiving side of like the questions. But then that's kind of how I got started in that. And I got an internship at ABC4 for Good Things Utah, their morning show. And that was their lifestyle show. And I loved it. But I was like, I want to try something harder. I want to try harder news because I still had that love for politics. So the next semester, I got an internship at Fox 13 and started as an intern. And then I kind of worked my way to the assignment desk. And then after that, our news director gave me the amazing opportunity to become a multimedia journalist. So I was shooting, writing, editing, all my own stuff, like news of the day type stories. And then 6 months ago, she gave me another awesome opportunity to fill in as our features reporter. And then some other things just fell into place at the station. And then now that's kind of what I do full time.
Oh my gosh.
A long journey.
A long journey, but so fun.
Yeah, so fun.
So when was the moment that you knew that like do you have a time, or was it just kind of like everything was falling into place, or do you have a moment that you knew that like news is what you wanted to do?
I think after freshman year of college, that's when I really knew. But a lot of people that graduated in my year, because I graduated in 2022, we kind of got screwed with the COVID and right in the middle of our college experience. So it was hard to like find internships because nobody was in studios. So I got super fortunate my last year of college that I got those two internships because, to be honest, the University of Utah isn't really a broadcast school. So I didn't know how to write for TV. I didn't know anything about broadcast journalism or broadcast news. I knew how to be a journalist. I knew like the who, what, when, where, why. I knew that type of stuff, but I didn't know the ins and outs of TV.
So what is your daily, do you have like a daily routine, or is it
Yeah.
more like a weekly routine?
I think that in my old job or my old position, it was harder to have a routine just because like your days were never planned. You never knew exactly what you were going to do. But now with features, like we're kind of booked out at least 2 weeks. We try to book out a month in advance. So now I know what I'm doing. So every Sunday night, I'll go through our stories for the week, and I'll just write them down, write what they are, where I need to be, what time, stuff like that. And then my daily schedule is I usually wake up around 5 a.m. and then 5:30 is when I start my shift, and that's when I'll start looking through the outline that the people have put together, because I'm like, I need to have at least a basic understanding of what I'm doing so that I can convey that to the viewer, even if the person I'm interviewing can't or we're talking about something else. I can make
Mm-hmm.
sure that they still get the details. So I'll do our live shots from about 6:30 to 9:30 in the morning, and we do five live segments. And then throughout the live morning shots, we're also doing recorded interviews and taking video to do a story for later. So even though I don't shoot my own things as much anymore, after our live shots, I still write and then I edit the story from whatever we do in the morning. And then I also do the web article after that, and then I'll try and find more segments too. I have an amazing photographer who's also kind of a producer that books a lot of our stuff, but I am starting to try and book more things. So yeah,
That's so fun.
it is really fun.
Do you have how long have you been doing the position that you say you've been doing?
Ooh, like 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have like a career progression you know where you want to do, or you're like, you said you were happy, so you're like, do you want to stay in this for a while?
Yeah, right now, I feel like when I first started, I was like, I want to be a news anchor, but the media landscape is changing so much. And I feel like it's one thing to think you want to do something, it's another thing to see what it actually takes to do it and the day in and day out.
Yes.
So I think right now I'm super, super happy with where I'm at. And I love being out in the field. I love getting to meet awesome people like you because that's how we met. So right now, I'm happy. But that's not to say that I'm like complacent and that I don't see any growth in the future. But I do think that there is power in being like, right now, I'm grateful for what I have. And when I feel like it's time to elevate or move to the next thing, I'll get that vision clearer.
Yeah. Dude, I think that's so important because I think everybody's always like racing for the next thing, but you like forget to be like, to enjoy this part of the journey.
Yeah, you're like, this is something you once prayed for. So enjoy it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have like do you remember the first time that you went on air?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it good or you're like, I'm just gonna forget it?
The first time, because we don't do as many, news doesn't do as many live shots as they used to. So my first time, it wasn't live or anything.
okay.
But when I watch it back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I sound so young. My delivery is so bad. I am talking so fast that I hate watching old stuff. I'm like, I cannot believe they let this go on air. But it was kind of like a sink or swim situation for me because, again, I didn't have any experience. Like, our news director really took a chance on me.
Yeah.
And so it was like, crap, I got to figure this out. And I mean, I feel like I'm swimming, but at the beginning, it was like, oh my gosh, there were so many days where I was like, I can't do this. And they probably were like, what the heck is she putting on air?
So do you think that you learned by like trying and failing and sinking and swimming, or did you get to practice after that one? Or
Oh, yeah. I did have some really great mentors, like our chief photographer really helped me out in terms of like shooting and editing, and our special projects guy really helped me out as well. And we used to have a reporter, and I would read all of her scripts, and I feel like I learned by reading how she was writing. Like, I was like, oh, this is how she's starting her stories, this is how she's ending them, stuff like that. So I do feel like I got support, but I also think that, like most things in life, you kind of just have to do it to really
Yeah.
understand what you're doing and just do it repetitively. And when you're turning 5 stories a week, you're naturally just going to get better because over the course of a few months, that's a lot of stories.
yeah, that's a lot of stories. You
Yeah.
do 5 a week?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
I know.
Do you have one that's your favorite or like touches your heart like the most?
I don't know. Like,
Or do you have like a
now,
genre that hits you more?
what I'm doing now features. Because it's funny because how I left lifestyle, the internship, and I was like, oh, I want to do something more hard and
Yeah.
more serious. And after doing that, I realized like, oh no, like my personality and my passion actually lies in like the fun stuff, like highlighting the good in our community. Because I mean, we can focus all day on all of the terrible things happening in the world, but it's fun to bring that light and be that joy and that love in someone's morning or someone's day, and to really bring up the community and showcase all the cool things that are happening. Because Utah's an amazing state, and there are so many amazing people doing great things, so it's fun to be able to highlight that.
Yeah. Dude, I will say my favorite thing is that you actually like get down and dirty and you will like get involved with the community. So I think it's like one thing to watch like a news article, you're like, oh, they're doing this, but you're like, oh no, we're doing these push-ups, or oh, we're gonna
Mhm.
do this cheer. So it's like super fun to watch you like actually get involved.
Yeah, that's what I love to do. And I mean, one, it's better TV, but two, I feel like you can't get the full experience unless you're putting yourself in the experience as well. So whenever
Yeah,
people are like, "Oh, do you want to be involved in this?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it. Why not?"
for sure. For those who wouldn't understand when you say features or lifestyle, can you kind of break down what those categories what those category mean, and then are there other ones out there as well?
Yeah, so lifestyle is kind of the sales show. So they do a lot of like advertisements. You'll see a lot of sponsored by content. And each lifestyle show is different, but it's more like the cooking segments, the like people coming on the show and talking about events, talking about whatever. Features is I'm trying to explain that really well. Features is like at our station at least it's going out into the community and featuring a place, an organization, an event, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. But it's not sponsored content in the way that lifestyle is, where they pay to go on the show. Features, it's all free. We just
Oh,
reach out to you, or like they reach out to us, and if we think it's a good community story, then we'll do it.
and so when you do you, it makes you travel a lot, or is it just pretty close to like Salt Lake base?
We try and get out more. Like we went to Delta for a segment. I really want to do a trip to southern Utah to just do like a few days highlighting some things down there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you do travel sometimes, not like super crazy far or super often, but I
Yeah.
feel like we normally stay within 2.5 hours of Salt Lake City.
Okay. And you just went to Sundance last week.
Yeah,
Did
so
you
fun.
cover it, or you just went for fun?
No, I was just there for fun. It was my first time ever up there.
Really?
Yeah, which is crazy because I'm from Utah and I'm like, how have I not done Sundance? It
I,
was amazing.
how was it? Did you meet any like famous people or celebrities
Oh my
or
gosh, yes, it was so fun. I feel like I have friends that are just in the mix, like in the entertainment industry, in whatever, like they are getting us into like the amazing places and I love them for it. It was a really great time, but what I loved the most is we saw this film. It was called The Stringer, and it was like an investigative journalism documentary about these people trying to find out who really took the famous picture from the Vietnam War. And they claim that the person who got the credit for it and got the Pulitzer Prize and all these things isn't actually the person who took the photo. So they're kind of just like presenting all their evidence and they meet the guy who they believe actually took the photo and trying to like give him the recognition that they feel like he was robbed of for so many years. So that was like a really impactful story. One, because like I'm a journalist. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And it made me be
yeah.
like, wow, like I should do more hard hitting investigative journalism like this. And then I was like, no, what am I thinking? I should not do that because it's not me. But props to all of the amazing journalists that do the hard work day in and day out.
Yeah. Holy cow. That's a story.
Yeah, it was insane.
Do you have like a top favorite experience that you've like dived into?
Oh my gosh. Like work or life? I'm like, I don't
Okay,
know.
either or, either or.
I feel like, oh my gosh, I honestly feel like I have so many fun experiences that I can't even like narrow them down, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think, wow, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know.
You're good. You're like, I just that involved and I love
Yeah,
all of
like I
them.
love all of them. I can't pick.
Well, you're one thing fun thing you're doing is you're thrifting.
Yeah, I love
That's so
thrifting.
fun.
It's so fun.
And you have the cutest outfits, like how you pull
Thank
them together. You're like,
you.
I'm just gonna bring something casual tonight. I'm like, girl, you look so cute.
Dude, I was like, yes, she's like, we're casual. I'm like, I'm so happy about this.
It's just chill. It's just for fun, right?
Yeah, right. No, I love thrifting so much. One, because it's more sustainable. Like, if you go into thrift stores or see their back rooms, you realize how many clothes there are in the world and how a lot of that is going to end up in a landfill if we don't buy that or repurpose that. And with like fast fashion and stuff, the fashion cycles seem to be faster than ever. The trend cycles, you're like, oh my gosh, there's a new trend literally every week. And
Mm-hmm.
so I love thrifting because one, you can find really great pieces. Two, some of them have the tags or are brand new. And three, I feel like it's better for the environment and it's way more sustainable and it's cheaper. Like the cost of everything is going up nowadays. So
Yeah.
if I can spend $50 and get 5 new things of clothes versus spending $500, I'm gonna do it every time.
I love it. Do you have any like tips and tricks for thrifting?
Yeah, my first tip and trick: go early because if you go early, that's when they're putting out the newest stuff
Early in the day or early in the week?
early in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, and then whenever they have like the racks that aren't fully put on to like
The normal
the normal
racks?
racks, look through those because those are all of the new stuff, and that's how you can find the best things. Like, my best thrifts are when I went early and I went straight to those racks, and that's just where I found, like, an amazing haul. 2, I feel like go in with a vision, like, know what you're looking for because I don't know if it's manifesting or if your brain is just like wired to look for that thing and then you find it. But every time I've gone in with a vision or I have a vision for something, I can find it within a few thrift trips. It's crazy. Like, my best friend, she really wanted hunter boots. And I was like, I'm going to thrift her hunter boots. I'm going to thrift her hunter boots. And last week I found them at the thrift store and
No,
I
you
FaceTimed her and I was like, girl, found your hunter boots.
uh,
But it's because I was looking for them. Like, I was actively like
Yeah.
everywhere I went, I'm like, hunter boots, hunter boots, hunter boots.
So when you say like go in with a vision, how do you create like a mood board or like a vision board, or do you like do a
Yeah.
Pinterest, or like how do you create like your sense of style?
Yeah, I have like my Pinterest boards, which is just like a collection of like the mood or like the energy I'm trying to encapsulate. And then I also have a list on my notes if there's like a certain piece I'm looking for or like a certain style I'm looking for. Like, right now, I really want dark brown shorts to go with like this brown and yellow Puma sweater I have. So I haven't
Okay.
found them yet, but it's just something like that. Like, I'll put it on my list. It doesn't even necessarily have to be super specific. I'm just like, hey, dark brown shorts. And then when I find them, I'll know.
So how did you find thrifting? Or when did you like start getting in? Have you always had a sense for fashion, or are you just like
Yeah, I've always had a sense for fashion. Like, back in middle school, I had a Tumblr. I don't know if you remember the Tumblr era,
the
but
Tumblr, like the
yeah,
cups?
no, the app. You don't know Tumblr?
Tumblr. Oh my god,
Oh
no.
my gosh. It was like this app. It was kind of like a mix of Pinterest and Instagram, I would say.
I feel like like remember hearing it, but I don't
Yeah,
know it.
it was like a really popular app, and I followed like all of these fashion people on there,
Okay.
and I would make, do you know Polivore? Do you remember that app?
No.
Oh my gosh. It was like this app where you could like put collages together. But
Okay.
I would find this like Tumblr inspo pictures and then I would have my Polivore and I would just like create outfits on my Polivore based off like this inspo. And so I had like all these little outfits in like 7th and 8th grade. And then at the time I didn't have a job. So when I was done with like a piece of clothing, I would sell it on Poshmark and like make
I know
money.
that one.
Yeah, and make money to buy more clothes. Like, my mom would always be like, "What are all of these packages?" Because I couldn't drive either, so I literally just had to leave them outside for like the
For the
USPS guy to pick them up. And yeah, that's how I was making money and getting more clothes, is just selling my old ones.
Oh my gosh. Look
Yeah,
at you.
so that kind of got me into thrifting too, because I was like, "Oh, if I can sell these clothes, I can also buy clothes from like something like Poshmark."
Yeah, so it's basically free. Girl
Yeah,
math,
exactly.
right?
It's girl math. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
free. I'm just exchanging clothes for a new item.
Oh, I love it. Do you have like a different mood board for your like your work and then for your personal style, or do you just
Yeah, my work style is honestly so bad. I was just telling my friend this. I'm like, I feel like I finally have mastered my personal style. Like, I know what I like and what I don't like for the most part. But when it comes to work, obviously I have to be more modest and like, you never want your outfit to detract from what you're saying or
Yeah.
highlighting the person you're talking to. So I feel like when it comes to work, I mostly just stick to like solids and like just modest pants, modest whatever. And also, my position, I like to be able to do a lot of different things, like do push-ups, do whatever. So I also like things that I can move in without having to worry like, oh my gosh, like if I'm wearing a dress, then I have to be more conscious of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like my work style, it needs help, but I also don't know if it's really my priority because I feel like anything I wear to work, no matter how cute it is, I wouldn't actually wear
Yeah.
in my day-to-day. So
Yeah. That makes sense. So what would like if you had advice to like onto somebody on, because you have like the best style. Like
I love
I see
you.
things you wear and I'm like, I could never wear that. Like you just look so
You
cute.
could.
And you have like an eye for style, which I do not. But I was also raised on a
Yes, you
ranch.
do.
So
Everyone has an eye for style. It's their own style.
so what would you like tell people on like them trying to find their sense of style? Like what would you say to look for?
I'd say don't limit yourself because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I have to be one style. And when I find that style, I have to stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone that knows me knows like sometimes my outfits will be girly, sometimes they'll be more masculine, sometimes they'll be chill, sometimes I'll be super dressed up. It just depends on the mood that day. So I feel like when you stop limiting yourself to being like, oh, I have to look like a corporate girl or I have to look like, or I want to do like a farm aesthetic, and you just kind of like mix everything together, you'll find your best style. And for people who are trying to be more experimental, but they don't know how, the first thing I tell people is don't worry about matching colors, worry about matching tones. Because sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, you're wearing orange and blue, but how is it matching? And it's because it's the same tone, it's the same
Oh,
brightness, it's the same whatever. And that will allow you to incorporate different colors that you would not normally put together. But because they're the same tone, it kind of works.
okay.
Yeah. And if all else fails, match your bag and your shoes. You can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong.
That's your bag in your shoes.
Yeah.
Do you oh my gosh. I was gonna say.
You're fine. That's like me trying to come up with like my favorite experience. I'm like, oh, no.
I have no idea. Um, do you so you say you prepare like 2 or 3 hours before you start news.
Hmm.
Do you practice at home or you go to clinics? I know you just hosted like you hosted a clinic or you helped with a clinic this weekend or something?
Oh yeah. We went to help some high schoolers that were getting ready for like a broadcast skill thing. That was really fun. I I don't really practice just because like features, the nature of it is so different. Like there's not really anything like again, I need to know the details of the event, but there's nothing I really have to memorize off the top of my head. I just more have to come
Yeah.
in with questions. And it's one of those things where like it's easier once I get there to like tell the vibe and like ask the person like, "Hey, what do you want to talk about?" Because it's not really what I want to talk about, it's what they want to talk about and how they want to feature themselves.
Yeah.
I did do voice lessons for like a couple months
Like for singing or for talking?
for talking.
Really?
Yeah, so I did that for a couple months. Now it was kind of expensive, and I just felt like once he told me what to work on, it was just up to me to work on it versus going back every week.
Yeah.
But I did that, but I do love helping people out, like the high schoolers. I love building up the next generation because that was me at one point. And so I feel like any tips that you can give them so that they're in a better situation than you were to be successful is the best thing you can do.
Yeah. That's so fun. So is that something that your work was like, "Hey, would you want this opportunity?" or did you seek that out?
Yeah, they kind of were just wondering, like, hey, would you want to go out and do that with us? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. You're down for like any opportunity.
Yeah, I'm down for any opportunity. Plus, I feel like I'm only 24, so I do feel like I can relate to the people in high school more than like someone that's a
Yeah.
little bit older. Like they could probably learn a lot more from someone that's older, but I do feel like there is a relatability factor that they're like, "Oh, you're young and you're doing this, so I can do it too."
Yeah. That's so fun.
I loved it. It was so amazing.
Um, do you so you did sorry to jump back. So to get into journalism, you switched it in college. So
Hmm.
you said you majored in journalism?
I majored in political science, but I added a double major in
That's right.
communications.
Yeah, I know. I listened to that. I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine.
So oh my gosh, my question just literally left my brain.
It's okay. That happens. That literally happens to me on air, and then I have to make up something
What
on the
what do you
spot.
what do you do when you do that?
I am just like have to go for anything. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, so
Okay.
I just start talking until I find out what my question was, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it was.
Oh my, and I guess that's just like a trained skill that you have to
Yeah,
do. Because I'm
seriously.
not good at it at all. Thank goodness it's a podcast. I can just
I was gonna
edit
say,
the
edit this
quiet.
quiet. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you like? What does a career path look like? Um, in your career field, like where would you want to go?
For a long time, it was anchoring, but like I said, the media landscape is changing so much that I don't necessarily know if that's a sustainable path anymore.
Yeah.
For me, like I would love to have my own show and possibly move over to lifestyle at some point. But I don't know. It's like it's interesting because I'm in a position where I don't necessarily do hard news anymore, and the trajectory for that is like mostly news anchoring. But now that I do the softer stuff, I feel like it would be more like lifestyle talk show host type stuff.
Yeah. How much do you think that because I feel like we've seen it a lot within the last year or so, or the last couple years. How much do you think podcasts affect like the media?
Yeah, I think a lot. I mean, I just feel like there's now so many different options when it comes to how you can engage with information and entertainment. And I feel like podcasting, YouTube, TikTok, like there's just so many more ways for people to get their news that are more convenient to the life we now live, you know? Like people aren't coming home and like sitting at the dinner table as families anymore and turning on the news. That's just not happening. Like it might happen in some households, but a lot of people are really busy. People are working more. People have more things they have to worry about. So they don't really want to dedicate that hour, 2 hours of time to just sit and watch the TV. They'd rather just get on their phone and scroll and be like, oh, if it's important enough, it'll show up on my feed kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you get to try a lot of really cool like restaurants and it like places that don't get like seen a lot. Do you have like some of your favorites?
Yeah, I feel like even more so like out of work because I make like TikToks. I don't really post about them on Instagram, but I make TikToks about things to do and places to try in Utah. So I feel
Yeah.
like that has really expanded my horizons in terms of like places to go because now I actively look for new places so I can go there for a TikTok.
Yeah.
Some recent favorites. There's Motel West. It just opened down in Orem. It's like
Okay.
it just has the name motel outside, but inside it's like the coolest like desert inspired decor and interior, and it's Mexican food. So amazing tacos and burritos. Um, Downtown Salt Lake City on Main Street, there's like a bar restaurant called Felt. Oh my gosh, probably the best food I've had in Utah. It is amazing.
What kind of food is it?
It's like American fare, like truffle fries, steaks,
Ooh.
burgers, incredible. There's also a new farm to table restaurant in Salt Lake City called Rue, which I fell in love with. The quality, like, when you taste a food and you're like, wow, you can taste the difference in the quality.
Yeah.
That's how I felt at Rue. So I don't know. I feel like Utah's food scene is getting better. There used to be just chain restaurants. Like I grew up in Draper. So 123rd is like the mecca of chains.
Yeah.
And now like we're getting some more local spots. And so like city, the food scene is getting better and like there's cute places and like they're aesthetic. So I just love, I know a lot of people hate Utah's growth, but I love Utah's growth because it comes with better food and activities and vibes and just all that good stuff.
Do you are so when you are you more of like a go out and eat kind of person or are you more like um a you cook kind of person?
I don't know how to cook. I need to get better because I'm like, when my boyfriend and I move in together, he's gonna be like, not that he's one of those people, but like, you should be able to cook for your husband and for your family. And I'm like, I need to start learning now. So I'm prepared.
No, dude, honestly, I don't think I learned how to cook until I was pregnant. Like that's like sounds so bad. I don't know if I was pregnant and the hormones and you just like you're nesting and you like learn
Yeah.
how to cook, but like we weren't really like big cooks and mainly because I was doing events. So I was like all
Yeah.
over the place, like
And you
eating.
probably were eating there.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
just trying new places wherever we would go or whatever. And then I would also do those healthy meal kits that you
Oh,
get.
yeah.
And then just buy those because I was like I wasn't home enough for events to like buy all this food and
Yeah.
cook it and meal prep and all that. So I just bought like the like two I think it was like Clean Simple Eats or 1%
Yeah.
Fitness or
Yeah. One
something
of
like
those
that. Yeah,
things.
one of
Yeah.
those things. But then I got pregnant and I was like home more and then I like started cooking. So you're
Okay. So
fine.
I still have time.
You still have plenty
Yeah,
of
because
time.
I love going out to eat. Like my ideal night is like pictures, dinner, home. That's like perfect for me. My friends can go do the whole going out thing. I'm like, I'm too tired for all of that. I want to go home and FaceTime my man, and that's that.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I'm like if we were gonna go out, I like going to the restaurant. Like I
Hmm.
like having the full experience of like sitting down,
Yeah.
talking, telling stories. I like the appetizers. I like the
Yes.
desserts. But I'm not a big like club person.
Yeah. No, me neither.
I like got out of that after college. I was like, I
Same.
had a couple parties and I was like, all right, I'm
Yeah,
done.
because it's kind of the same thing every weekend, and I'm like, I just don't see the personally for me, I don't see the benefit in it. If that's what some people love to do, like great for them. I think it can be a fun time if that's what you like, but I don't drink, and so I also feel like that changes your experience when you're around everyone that's
Hmm.
drunk and you're sober. You're just like, this is a waste of time.
Yeah, you just get into like a different phase of your life where you're like, I'm gonna focus on my career. And if you're focusing on your career,
Yeah.
you want to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed by 5 or 7 in the morning and be ready to be in
Yeah.
front of people and be that like good example. You don't want to be
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
gross
Like
or
Sundance, I was with my first mistake was I didn't drive myself. And I was like, oh no, because I'm not gonna be able to leave until like someone else wants to leave.
yeah.
But I was like, you know what? It's Sundance. Like we'll make a time of it or whatever. And I was with my friends who can stay out and they can rally. And I didn't get home until 4:30 that day. I was messed up the whole week because I'm like, I usually wake up at this time. Like I'm going to sleep at this
Yeah.
time. I could not get enough sleep until like literally Friday. I'm like, I'm 24. Why am I like a grandma? Like, why is my body taking so long to recover from this one night out? But my body just isn't meant for that. Like, I've always been a morning person and not a night owl. So
Yeah.
I was like done. I'm like, oh my gosh, never again.
Yeah. How did you meet your boy? Can I ask that?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. We met when he was at the University of Utah and I was still in school. one of my friends, she was like, "There's this really cute guy on the basketball team." But a lot of my friends played basketball, and a lot of my friends dated some guys on the basketball team. So I was like, "No, there is nobody cute on the basketball team." She's like, "No, no, no, I promise." And she showed me his picture, and I was like, "Oh, he is cute." So I followed him on Instagram, but I didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, "Oh, I'll follow him," and he followed me back. And then a couple weeks later, my friend was having a party at her house, and his teammate came to the party and was like, "Are you Darian?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, my friend Boston was talking about you." I don't know if that is even true or what, but that's what he said. And I was like,
He had a wingman though.
yeah, I was like, "Oh, was he really?" But then his friend ended up having like wanted my friend. So he was like, "Hey." So him and I became like a duo. Like I was like, "Okay, hook me up with Boston and I'll hook you up with my friend Marin."
Okay.
And so we always planned these like group hangouts, but Boston would never come. And I was like, "What the heck? Like, does he not like me? Like, is he just like saying this so he can hang out with my friend Marin? Like, whatever." So finally, one day I DM'd Boston. That's my boyfriend's name. And I was like, "Are you scared of me or something?" And he was like, "What?" And I'm like, "We've been supposed to hang out so many times and you don't come." And he was like, "No, no, no. Like, I'm just adjusting to a new school, blah, blah, blah. I've been sick, all this stuff." So then we kind of started talking from there. We FaceTimed and we hung out. And yeah, rest is history. And my other friend, Marin, and that other guy did not work out. But it's
Oh,
okay because Boston and I did.
that's okay. Um, that's so fun. So how long have you guys been together?
Like we met 3.5 years ago, and
Oh,
we've been
okay.
officially dating for like 2.5 years.
Oh, fun. And is he here or is he somewhere else?
No, he lives in Tallahassee.
Okay.
Yeah, so long
So long
distance.
distance. That's kind of tough.
Yeah.
We did long distance for like 10 months and it's tough.
Ooh, yeah.
But we did it in the beginning of our relationship.
I feel like it's harder in the beginning because you're still trying to establish like that connection and that trust.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, we started long distance like a year and a half in. So we kind of already knew a lot about each other. We already trusted each other. We already had the foundations for our relationship. So then it was like,
Mhm.
okay, we'll just take that and go long distance.
Yeah. I can agree with that because I feel like in the beginning, because we were doing Texas, Utah, and we
Uh-huh.
did that for a really long time. And then I think it got to it was really hard because it's like, okay, where are we at this point?
Yeah.
You know, like, is it the point where like I move here and move away from my
Yeah.
family and my career, or is it like how serious is it, or
Yeah,
you
for
don't
sure.
know? But so he's been there for, you said, a year and a half.
He was in South Dakota for a year,
Oh,
and then
okay.
he's been in Florida for it would be a year in like May.
Okay.
So we've almost been long distance for 2 years. We've been long distance for more of our relationship now than we ever were in person.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you think the gap's gonna get closed soon, or?
I hope so. I don't know. I feel like the next like 4 months is gonna be a whirlwind trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
But everything happens for a reason. Like I want to be with him. I think he wants to be with me. So hopefully we'll figure out a way to close the gap
Yeah.
after the next couple months.
Well, you'll be busy like newscasting and all that.
Yeah, and
So
that's one thing that has helped with our relationship is he is super busy with what he does and I'm so busy with what I do. So it's
Mhm.
kind of nice when like I go there once a month. So it's kind of nice when I go there, we can just be fully with each other. And when we're
Yeah.
apart, like we obviously still talk every day and FaceTime multiple times a day, but it also gives us the space to do what we need to do without the other person like
Yeah.
requiring a lot of in-person attention at least.
Yeah, the quality time is just like amplified.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And he probably benefits from it more than me because I'm like so clingy when I'm in person with like my person. So, I mean, maybe it has been good for me too because I feel like I used to have a lot of codependent tendencies, and being long distance has kind of forced me to get out of that because he's not here to hang out with every single day. He's not here to go and do all these things with. So, I think it's allowed me to cultivate some really amazing friendships that I might not have cultivated if he was here to always be my go-to person.
Yeah. And again, I'm just seeing your life through social, but I feel like you have a lot of fun friends. And
Yeah.
it's like super like fun. You always do like these girls' nights and it's super cute.
Yeah.
Um, how did you find all your friends? Like, and I know that sounds like so
No,
weird, but like
it's
I feel like
not.
in my time in life, like I'm having some hard times finding some like girlfriends. Like, what would you suggest to like
It's
on telling people?
hard. It's so hard, especially after college, because you go from a situation when like you guys are all kind of in the same phase in life. You see each other all the time. You're getting invited to the same things. You're running into each other. To like after college, everyone kind of scatters and everyone's doing different
In
things.
such different phases of life.
Yes, so it's so
Yes.
hard. I feel like obviously because I'm from Utah, I still have like my high school friends, but my best friend lives in Arizona and she has a kid and is married. So we're in like completely different stages. We've just kept our friendship, but a lot of my new friends that are in more similar stages in life as me, social media. My like
Really?
best friend in Utah right now, I met her because she followed me on Instagram and I slid into her DMs and I was like, dude, you look like so cool. You look like you're my vibe. Like we should hang out sometime. And
Yeah.
we hung out and then it was just a vibe. And that's really how I've met a lot of like my close girlfriends right now is through social media and just like connecting through there. And I feel like a lot of people are like afraid of rejection or afraid of looking weird. Like, oh, am I going to DM this girl? Is she going to be like, why is she DMing me? But I think a lot of people, more people than you think, are in the same situation where it's just like hard to make friends and they don't know who to make friends with. So my advice to everyone is like put yourself out there. If you see someone on social media or even in person that you're like, wow, I feel like we're a similar vibe that we would connect and I want to be friends with her, just reach out because you never know what will happen.
Yeah. No, I think that's so valid because I think once, like you said, like going from college to going to different phases of life, and then not all the times do you want to hang out with like your coworkers, and you're either at
Yeah.
coworkers or you're at home. So it's like,
Yeah.
how else do you meet people with like social media or like, I kind of made a goal when I would go to the gym to like try to say hi to like one girl every
See,
time,
that's
which is like
perfect.
so
No,
cheesy, but I'm like,
that's perfect because then you guys, you already know you have at least one thing in common if you're at the same place.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
So,
I love that. I don't know. Also feel like when you get older, um, it's harder to create good, solid friendships because those relationships take time. And when you're older, you don't have as much time
yeah.
to just dedicate to your friends and being with each other 24/7 and learning all about them that you did when you were younger. So I think it's harder, but I do think if you're intentional about it and both of you and the other person make space for each other, it can work.
Yeah. Do you guys have like a set girls night every month, or is it just kind of like random? So
No,
like,
it's kind of random. It's honestly because I want to like, this sounds so bad. I want to make content. So I'm like, hey girls, I found this for us to go do.
but
So let's go do that.
that's like so good though, you know, because it's like it's getting you out to like make those girls'
Yeah,
nights.
exactly. No, that's why the content thing has been so good for me because it forces me to try new things and to find new things to do with my friends. And
Mm-hmm.
also, like, all of us just love pictures. And my boyfriend just got me the Canon G7X, which is like a really
Ooh,
popular, like, digi camera. So we all just love taking pictures. So if I'm like, hey, we're going here, pictures before, this after, this is going to be the vibes, everyone's
yeah.
down for it. And I love it.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, we I think there's like a couple girls we know and we try to do like a craft night like once a month and kind of
Cute.
like rotate and just be
Yeah.
like, okay, you're doing the oh my gosh, I don't even know which one we did. We did like a garden party and
Fun.
then they did like a Halloween one and they just did the Christmas mat one
I
where you
love
like
that.
paint the Christmas
Yeah,
mats.
that's
Like
cute.
I think it's like anthropology or
That's
something like
so
that.
cute.
So I think yeah, and then me and my husband, we're like having a hard time finding like couple friends.
Oh, yeah, that's a challenge
That's
too.
another challenge like in itself.
Yeah.
And so this is so cheesy, but I feel like it's going to work because you just have to, like you said, you have to put yourself out there.
Oh, for sure.
Um, we forced ourselves that we would like host at our house once a month. So it'd be like, okay, whether
That's
it's
cool.
like something we just invite anybody and everybody and they can come on out and just
Yeah.
like create the space rather than like looking for
Looking
this
for it?
space, like you
Yeah.
create the space to like have people come and hang out.
Yeah, and that's literally what you have to do sometimes in like any aspect of life is you have to create the space for that to happen, for that to build.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Do you feel like you meet a lot of people through your job or is it mainly like is it kind of different?
It's I do meet a lot of people through my job, but a lot of the people are like older than me or younger than me, so it's hard to find people that are like my age. I
Yeah.
think in this position it would be a little bit more it'd be a little bit easier to transition like a work relationship into a friendship, but in my old position it was more like I was reaching out to people and they were the authority on X topic. So it's like not that it would go against any sort of journalism ethics or something, but I do feel like there's that weird dynamic of like a
Yeah.
journalist and like a public information officer, or like a journalist and like a source. that
Yeah.
it
It can
doesn't
almost
really.
be like a conflict of
Yeah,
interest at a point.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel
Yeah.
like now maybe not as much because it's more of like the fun, lighthearted stuff. Like we went to this place called Joy Pops on last Monday, and the girl and I we actually went to high school together, but we didn't know each other at the time, and so we're gonna hang out on Thursday.
Oh,
So I'm like,
fun.
that's fun, and I feel like I can meet more people like that, but it's gotten better. I just feel like I don't usually meet people my age in my job.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I mean, how long does it take to get into journalism typically?
I feel like God blessed me with a fast track because most people
He's like,
start.
we need her out there.
I
We
don't know
need
what
her
he
getting
did,
involved with the
but
community.
thank you, God. I love you. Um, he literally fast tracked me though because most people start in really small markets, and this was my first market, and most people are in like Illinois or like a random city in like Indiana, and they have to do that for 2 years, and then they hope like a bigger market will take a chance on them.
Yeah, so that's a good thing you bring up because like most of the time when you do broadcast journalism, the network tells you where to go, but like you got to pick your home state, which is kind of fun.
I got super blessed, and like, but honestly when I first started, like a lot of people at the station told me like you're gonna have to go to a smaller market because again I had no experience, and that's just like that's I don't think
Yeah.
that it's not that they had anything against me, that's just the traditional path, you know.
Yeah.
And luckily an opportunity opened up, but that's why I feel like it was a fast track because I honestly feel like I've only been reporting for a little over 2 years, and I feel like at this point in my career is when people would actually start looking at a bigger market, like a market this size.
Mhm.
So luckily it's my home state, and I do feel like the benefit I had is like I had connections here already, and like I knew where to find stories. But as far as a skill set, I did not have it.
Yeah. Is there a dream city you would take?
My dream city used to be Atlanta, but I honestly love Utah now. It sounds so bad. Well, not bad. But when I was in high school, I was like, get me out of Utah. The second I graduate high school, I'm out of here. Then I go to the University of Utah to get a scholarship. And my parents are like, we're not paying out of state tuition. So then I get stuck in Utah. And I'm like, oh, like bawling my eyes out, having a tantrum. Then in college, I'm like, hey, I'm going to graduate college early. And the second I graduate college, I'm out of here. Like, we're done with this. Then I get these internships and amazing opportunities in Utah. So then I'm like, well, looks like I'm staying because the job is here,
Yeah.
which is I'm super grateful for. But as I've been here longer, and again, like as Utah's growing, I kind of like being at the forefront of like the growth and have been here for so long and like have roots here, but to also see it change and develop. So as of right now, Salt Lake City is my dream city. That probably will change. And I do feel like at some point I'm going to need to spread my wings and just try something new so I don't live my whole life in one place. But it's weird how Salt Lake City went or Utah went from being like the place I hated to the place that like I really hope my boyfriend comes to because I'm like I love it here.
No, I can agree with that. I think the first year that I moved here, it was really hard. And I didn't love Utah, but I grew to love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I'm a Texan, so I'm like, I'll always love Texas, and Texas
Yeah.
will always come first just because that's
Texas
in
has
my
amazing cities like Austin.
my
I
blood.
love Austin.
Austin's so fun.
It's so
So
cool.
how many have you gone to? So I'm from Dallas originally. Have you been to Dallas?
I've never been to Dallas. I've only been to Houston and Austin.
Okay, you will have to take you to Fort Worth because you'll love it.
Okay, that's what everyone says. I've only been to Dallas when I fly there for a layover to Tallahassee. So I've never been
Okay.
outside the airport.
I know there's so many people say that. They're like, I've been to Dallas. I'm like, where? And they're like, just the airport. And I'm like,
You're like,
that's not
that does
Dallas.
not count.
No, I'm like, that doesn't even count. Yeah. So I'll always be a Dallas girl. Always be a Texas girl.
Love it.
Utah was really hard, I think, because I moved away from family, and
Yeah, for sure.
but then I did fall in love with it because it was like you're 20 minutes from the mountains or 20 minutes from the
Yes.
lake, or like it feels people are really nice and like welcoming, and I don't know. There's been a couple mean people, but I don't think they're actually Utah people.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that happens anywhere. Like you can find mean people anywhere. You can find crappy
Yeah.
people. You can find good people anywhere, you know?
Mm-hmm. Fun.
Yeah, it's super great.
Was there anything else you want to share?
No, this is great.
No?
Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for coming. I like just appreciate that you came down. I love
Of
seeing
course.
your Instagrams. You're always doing something new. You're always out in the community. So it's fun to watch you, and then it's also it's fun to see where you guys like do your girls' nights and go to restaurants and your fashion sense. I'm like, I just need to make you my vision board.
I got you, girl. I will come through your closet and I will be like, this is what we're
Oh,
doing.
You're gonna be like, you still have this from 8th grade? I'm like, oh yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for having me. I love you.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
Thank you so much.